Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do the PowerPoint guided project, and I'm going to start from the beginning in case anybody missed how to download the files. This particular project has some resource files we have to download along with the start file and the instructions. So I already did this assignment, so my project actually shows up down here in the submitted section. If you haven't, yours is going to be up near the top of the page, but here's the guided project 1-2 for PowerPoint. So we're going to click on that. I'm going to click on the download button for resources and for the start file because I don't need the instructions. I already have those in front of me. The first thing I'm going to do before I open up, if you notice down here at the bottom of my screen, I have the 2 files that I just downloaded. So I'm going to click on the zip folder. I'm going to click on the little arrow next to the zip, and I'm going to say show in folder because I don't have WinZip installed. So this is a way to get the files on your computer if you don't have a decompression software. So it shows up here on the right hand side of my window. I'm going to click on the email content file and open that up so that I can save it to my desktop. So I'm going to click Enable Editing, and I'm going to go to the File tab and go to Save As, and I'm going to choose Desktop, and then just click Save. And then I can close this because I don't need it just yet, and I'm going to click on the picture that's in that same folder that I downloaded with the resources, and then I'm going to go to File and make a copy, and I'm also going to save that on my desktop, and then I can close that. So now I have the files that I need from the resources folder. If you have a WinZip or some kind of decompression program on your computer, you may not have to do that. For some reason mine doesn't work properly. So once I do that, then I can go ahead and open up the PowerPoint start file. And just a few things as we get started. Just like when we were doing the Word projects, you'll see this gold bar show up. That's because we downloaded the file. So we want to click Enable Editing. And then you'll notice at the top of your screen in PowerPoint, the toolbars look very similar. They are in a lot of the same places as they are in Word. A couple things that are different about your screen in PowerPoint: you don't have a document with pages anymore. We have what we call slides. So along the left-hand side of the screen is our slide pane, and you'll see all the slides that we create show up there. In normal view, which is what we're in now, the slide we want to edit is what's going to be big in the center of our screen. You have a few other views down here on the toolbar. You have, now we're in normal view. Slide sorter view allows you to see all the slides in your slideshow, and then you can move them around by clicking and dragging and dropping. You have a reading view, which kind of previews for you what this slideshow would look like if you played it, but you actually still see the rest of the icons for your desktop and the rest of your screen. And then slideshow view, which basically makes the slideshow take up all of your screen. I'm going to hit escape and then go back to my normal view so that we can start to edit this particular slideshow. So step number 1 in our instructions says to save. So we're going to go to the File tab, and just like when we were in Word, we're going to go to Save As. I'm going to choose to save to my desktop and then click Save. So now I have it saved. It's not in my downloads folder, it's on my desktop. First thing we're going to do, it says in step 2, is to change the bullets on slide 2. So from the slide pane on the left, you can choose the number of the slide they're asking you to work on. And in the instructions, it says to select the bulleted text. So I'm going to highlight, just basically clicking with your mouse. One of the other things that's a little different about PowerPoint is that everything is pretty much in a text box. For the most part, all of the text you're going to find is in a bulleted list. So anytime you add a new slide and you have a box for content, it'll say click to add text, and pretty much you're adding a bulleted list. It's just as a reminder that this is a visual aid for the audience and you're not wanting to put paragraphs onto your slides. So once we select it, just like when we were working on our Word projects, to change the bullets, you're going to go up on the Home tab into this section called Paragraph. there is the bullets button. We're going to click on the arrow to drop down our menu, and we're going to go to where it says bullets and numbering. In 2D it says to change the color first, so we're going to click on color and we're looking for brown. Text 2. We're going to change the size to 80%. It's in step 2E. And then in 2F we're going to change the bullet itself. So we're going to click on the customize button, choose the Wingdings 2 font, and in step number 2G, it gives us a character code, which is 211. So rather than searching, I'm just going to type that in and then click OK. And then you should see that X is the bullet now, and then click OK again. So I modified the bullets just like I would have in Word. Step 3 is I'm going to add some slides by reusing the slides in that other slideshow we downloaded in the resources folder. And so, unlike in Word where you just keep typing and new pages get added, in PowerPoint you have to use the Home tab to insert slides. If you click on the picture of the slide here where it says new slide, you're just going to add a default slide, which is a title and content laid out much like this one. We want to click on the arrow where it says new slide, and we're going to go down to where it says reuse slides, because rather than just starting from scratch to type out slides, we're going to actually browse for the file that we downloaded in our resources folder. So I'm going to click on my desktop, and we're looking for the file that's called email content 01. So that's one of the resources we just downloaded. We're going to click open. And so all of the slides that were in that slideshow you'll see show up on the right hand side in this section where it says reuse slides. We're just going to click on each. It says we want to add all of them. So we're going to click on each one of these that show up here one at a time. And you'll notice that they pop up in your slide pane right over here on the left. And when you insert the slides, they're going to change to match the background of our slideshow. So once we add them, we should have 6 slides all together on the left. We can close this reuse slides option. In step number 4, it says to change the slides around the order of them. So on the left hand side over here, to move the slides, all you basically do is hover your mouse so that you can click on it, and then you're going to drag it, and you'll see the outline change into a red color. And drag it and drop it to where you want it to go. So the order it says is the getting results first, so that's the title slide. The second one should be ask these questions. So that's already the second one. The third one is why. So we're going to click on what is now slide number 5. Click, hold it down, and then you're going to move it so that it becomes slide 3. And then write a meaningful subject line, and then organize it. So the last slide is the one with the picture on it. That was originally our first slide of that set that we just inserted. Okay. So we've already rearranged the slide so it matches what they tell us to have in step 4. Step 5 says to check the spelling. Just like in Word, all of your document checking tools are in this review tab. So you're going to click review and spelling, and then just accept all the changes that they suggest. This is a feature that doesn't change between Word and PowerPoint. When you have misspelled words, there's a little red underline underneath it, and then you can use spell check to change them. Now what we're going to do, it says in step 6, we're going to use the format painter to make all of the bullets look like these. And so we can use the format painter. So I'm going to click on the home tab so you can see the format painter, which is still in the clipboard group just like it was in Word. And then it says in the instructions, it says on slide 2, select the body placeholder with the bulleted text. So the body placeholder is basically this section with our bullets. When I click it once, you notice that it has this dotted outline, and the cursor starts blinking because I can start editing whatever's in that text box. If it says to select the placeholder, what you want to do is put your mouse around the edge so you can see that 4-sided arrow, and you just click. And you're going to notice it's very subtle, but the outline turns solid. So now basically I can copy. So it's basically like highlighting all the text when I select the outline. So to use the Format Painter with the placeholder selected, I'm going to go up here and double click my Format Painter to turn it on. And then you can use your arrow keys or your page down button on your keyboard to move to the next slide. And then all you need to do is click in the bullets in the text box. So I'm page down and I click, and I do that for all 3 of my slides, and then I can hit escape to turn off the Format Painter. So I just did everything in step number 6. In step number 7, it says to move the picture on slide 3 so it doesn't overlap. So we're going to look for slide 3. I'm going to click, and I'm going to click and drag this picture. So that works the same as it would in Word. You just put your mouse over the object until you see the 4-sided arrows, and then you can move it down. It says in step 8, on slide 6, use a different picture and adjust the text. So on slide 6, it's really hard to see, but I have basically what would have been a title, and then I have a subtitle here which is in a really dark font, so it looks like it's blending into the background, and I want to delete the picture. So if you look at the instructions, there's a picture of what this slide should look like, and we are basically modifying it to match what we see in the instructions. So it says first in step number 8A to delete this picture. So we're going to click on it and then just press delete. And now we're going to insert another picture. So to add any kind of object, just like in Word, we're going to click on the Insert tab. And you have all the different kinds of objects you can add. You can add word, art, and text. You can add media. You can add illustrations. We're going to add a picture. So that's kind of far to the left. And then we're going to look for the image we downloaded in our resources folder. So I saved mine to the desktop. I'm looking for the @ symbol. I'm going to click Insert. And you should already have it pretty much be the size you need. If you look at the picture in the instructions, it is all the way to the left of the screen. And if you need to resize it for any reason, you can put your mouse over the corners or the sides until you see the 2-sided white arrow, and that allows you to stretch and shrink. The next part of step 8 is to adjust the size of the text boxes with the titles. So I'm going to click first somewhere over the word short, and you notice that the frame of the text box pops up, and you can see all the little dotted lines, and you can see the fill handles. So I'm going to click with my mouse over this left hand square and then shrink it over and drag it so that that text box is now in this yellow square and not underneath my picture. And then I'm going to make it a little bit more narrow so that it doesn't take up as much space. And then I'm going to put my mouse kind of down here. If you can look really closely, you'll see the word meaningful, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put my mouse over this edge and drag it, and then rather than making it smaller, I'm going to move it. So you're going to use your mouse till you see the 4-sided arrow, and then just click and drag it up some, and that looks like it should be about right. That's what it looks like in the instructions. And I'm done with step number 8. The next step is going to be doing something different than we did in anything in Word. We're going to be using transitions. So with a slideshow, when you put it up on the screen for your audience, you can add interactive movement so that it's a little more interesting. So in step 9, it says apply one transition to all slides. And so it says to click somewhere over here on our slide pane, and then we're going to hit Control A on our keyboard. And when you do that, you should see around each of the slides is this red border, and that means they're all selected. And now we're going to click on the Transitions tab, and here's all the different types of transitions we can add. In the instructions, it tells us to add the switch transition. Now, that doesn't show up in my gallery here. So just like with the other formatting options we worked with pictures and themes, we can click on the little More button here, and we're looking for switch, which in my toolbar, it's under Exciting, the second row, 4th one in. Yours might not be quite that one. And so then you can see a preview of what it'll look like when your slides change on the screen. Before we get out of this toolbar, we want to change one last thing. In step number 10, it says we want to change the movement direction. So you have this opportunity to change some of the options. So I'm going to click on Effect Options, and I'm going to go to where it says Left. And basically it means the slides move off to the left of your screen. Now I can preview what it might look like. So I'm going to click on the preview to double check one more time that I have the right transition. That's what I want it to look like. And I'm going to click somewhere over here so that none of my slides are not selected anymore. And now I can view the slideshow and see what it looks like. So down here on my status bar, this red bar at the bottom of your screen, you're looking for what looks like a projector screen. And if you hover your mouse over it, it says slideshow. We're going to click on it, and it allows us to view the show from the slide that we're on. So unfortunately I wasn't on the first slide, so I'm not viewing the entire slideshow, but you can use it to test what it looks like. And to move through the slideshow, you can use your arrow keys, or you can use the space bar, or you can click with your mouse. So we'll go over that a little bit more when we're in class. Step 12 is to change some of the properties of the file. We've done this in Word before. So we're going to click on the File tab, and we're going to go to where it says Properties and Show Document Panel. It takes a second, and then you're going to see the details of the document pop up so that if we wanted to search for it later, we can. So if you're looking at step 12B, it says to put your name in the author box. The title is the same as the title on the first slide. Getting results with email. Oops, not emails, just email. Subject is writing, and then I'm going to click down here in the comments box, and we're going to type, this presentation is for the new hire seminar. And then we can close by clicking on this X at the top of the document properties panel. Last step, step number 13, is how to print. And so if you printed handouts from classes before, this probably looks familiar to you, but most of the time when you print slides, you don't want one slide per page. If you notice, this is 6 slides, and that means 6 pieces of paper. If I wanted to give that to my audience, it would be a little bit much. So we're going to click on the File tab, and then we're going to go down to where it says Print. We're not actually going to print this, so it doesn't matter which printer is selected. We're going to skip down here to where it says Settings. And in step 13C, it tells us the settings we want. So it says under which slides we want all, so that's the first thing. The next thing we're going to change is that what to print. That's this box. Right now it says full page. We don't want 1 slide per page. So we're going to click and go down to 6 slides horizontal. So that basically means it goes from slide 1 to slide 2 to the right, and then down and right, down and right. We do want one-sided because we're not printing it for real. And then we want to change the color to grayscale, so you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like when you're printing and you need to make copies. I would always recommend using grayscale and not color, because on a Xerox machine it's really hard for the color to come out nicely in gray. If we wanted to now, we could click print. This is a preview of what your document would look like on paper. We are not going to do that. We are going to go ahead and save, and then we can close this out and we can upload our file. So I need to click the upload and save, and mine is on my desktop, and it takes a few seconds because it's a pretty large file. Whenever you use pictures, you're going to find that the files are larger. So with PowerPoint especially, because we're adding pictures, they're going to take a little bit longer to upload. That's pretty much the project. Once you get the upload done, click yes, submit the file so it can grade it. And you notice I did this a couple times because I was trying to do this recording. So here's the finished grade, and you are done.